I'm here to give you the secrets. The deep, dark secrets no one wants to tell you about teaching English in Korea. If you're watching this, it might get deleted because they don't want you to know. But I got you. Hey, how's it going, everyone? As I mentioned before, we're not doing a snack video today. We're going to be talking about what teaching English in Korea is like. And oh boy, wow, amazing. You could probably find a lot of different videos on that. Why watch mine? Well, I really want to give you an in-depth perspective of what it's like teaching English in Korea. So what is my response? It's been pretty great. Yeah, it's hard to really... I usually use those words whenever someone asks me because it's so hard to condense 2 years now of experience, and boy, a lot has happened, and shorten it down to about 10 minutes of length because no one wants to sit there for 30 minutes to an hour watching or listening to someone yak on about what blah 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 what it's like teaching here. So I thought what I would do today is break this into parts for you guys, and if you guys like this first video, maybe we can keep going and I'll put out some more videos throughout the months about what it is exactly you'll be expecting when coming here and what I can offer you in advice before coming here based off of my experience. But who knows, maybe you could have a totally different experience than I do if you decide to teach English here, but I really hope that it is a good one regardless. So what will you be doing exactly as a teacher? What is the job exactly? Well, you are an entertainer. That is what you are, which is why I'm doing this now, YouTube. Got in my career as an entertainer, as a teacher. Why do I say that? Well, most likely you're going to be teaching at one of two schools, public school or Hagwon. More likely you're going to be teaching at a Hagwon unless you have a actual teaching degree or majored in English, which I did not. I don't have a major in English. I don't have a teaching degree. I have the Tefl Certificate, but that's it. So when you want to look for a school job here, a teaching job here, you're going to be looking at Hagwons more likely than not because they prefer to have people who've had those degrees to teach at the public schools. Even if you go through a program like EPIC, which I did not, but I believe even if you go through EPIC, I think they still put you at one of their many Hagwons if you don't have those degrees. So what is a Hagwon? Well, it is an academy where students go to after they've finished school. So these kids, you have to really imagine, they probably don't really want to go because they just want to go home. I wanted to go home when I was a kid after school, but their parents are making them go to this English academy because they think learning English is going to be the best thing for them, for their education and their well-being later in the future. So they pour lots of money to these academies for their students, for their kids to learn English. On top of that, they go to other academies too, math, science, you name it. And so your job is to really, really keep these kids entertained. You gotta have 100% positive attitude, try to make them laugh, play some games. You gotta have a really good personality. Otherwise, it's gonna be very hard to teach. And who knows, you could get lucky and you work at a school where the students are always, high energy, such as the kindergartners. Kindergartners are always super high energy. But if you're teaching elementary, middle school, maybe even high school students, those kids tend to not have so much high energy as much as kindergartners. So you really have to bring the vibe up. And if that's not what you're saying, if you feel like you can't do that constantly, it might not be for you. Just smile. Well, these days we wear masks, so you could be frowning and no one would know, right? But yeah, that is kind of the biggest part of your job, is doing that kind of work. So get used to that. When you are looking for English teaching jobs, you're either going to go through Recruiter or the program. The biggest program is Epic. I don't know that there are any other programs, but you can actually go through Recruiter. What do the recruiters do? Well, they look for any school option within kind of your guidelines that you give them. Like, I want to work this age group. I want to work in this area. But the thing with recruiters, though, is that they're very, they want to get money. And I don't blame them. Make the hustle, get the money. So sometimes, even though you give them like a strict rule set, they will still kind of give you another option. Like, hey, you know how you said you wanted to work in Seoul? How about Busan? There's a really nice school in Busan just for you. Why do they do this? Well, because I think they get more commission based off of this. So you have to be really kind of hard with the recruiters and be like, no, I really want to work in this area. They'll still find you an option. Like, they're not going to dismiss you. And in some cases, they are very nice and very helpful. Even if you don't know good words for English language, you are not smart at English language, that's okay. You don't have to be, like I said, a major in English. You don't have to be like the highest tier of English knowledge. Like that's not a thing. You don't need to do that. You just have to be somewhat proficient at the English language. And if you come from any English-speaking countries, well, guess what? I would call you proficient. Some people, maybe. But you just need to have an okay understanding, and that will carry you through. Also, I do recommend getting the Tefl Certificate. Even if some academies don't really say you need it, it does help you. It gives you a little more experience and prepares you for what you might be doing. So I do recommend getting that, and it's a nice bonus on your resume. But what do I mean why you don't need English experience? Well, remember when I said you're an entertainer? You are an entertainer, and you're just there to be all of English. You are there to be the face of English knowledge and what the students should be learning. In some cases, some academies don't really care exactly what you're teaching them. They want the students just to practice what they've learned with a native English teacher. So yeah, you're going to be making lesson plans, you're going to be teaching from a book, but at the end of the day, what you're going to be doing is just smile and look pretty. It's a way for academies to show off that, hey, we have English speaker from insert English country here at our academy. Give us your money, please, and your student will speak good English. Yeah. That's the job, in a nutshell. There are a lot of things, and I can't give much advice on other academies because although it feels like most academies are cookie cutter, they are just kind of copy and paste the same stuff going on. There are some small differences, mainly the director. The director who's in charge has their own views of how some things should be done. There are some bigger chain Hagwons where they all follow the same thing, like a company. And there are smaller Hagwons which are independent and have their own sets of rules. I'm very lucky where I get to choose my textbooks to teach students, where I know some Hagwons, they give you a set guideline of books to use and that you have to use and teach from. So I think having the freedom to choose your own books is very nice. But yeah, every Hagwon is different, so it's very hard to give you an accurate representation of what you'll be getting and what you'll be doing. But for the most part, yeah, it will be just working very hard, which is what my next point. If you're trying to come here to just relax and take a year abroad and be like, hey, you know, I don't really know what I want to do with my life right now. Teaching English sounds pretty cool. Living in another country sounds cool. I'll save some money. No, you do not get to do that. You don't come here and just rest. You're working when you come here. Especially with the Hagwons, you only get 10 days of vacation. That's it. No more. And your rest days are Saturday and Sunday. Just a normal 9 to 5 job, although sometimes not 9 to 5. Most Hagwons work in the afternoon, so you'll usually be working 1 to 9 or 2 to 10, something like that in the afternoon, typically, if you're teaching elementary to middle school students. If you're teaching kindergartners, you can have the morning shift job, which is 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. But yeah, don't come here thinking that it's going to be just a rest. You're going to be working, so if you're not dedicated to coming here and actually putting in some work and living independently for a year and really kind of being an adult of society, then I recommend not doing it, because it's not a time to come and just rest. Yeah, it's a time to, find yourself. Like, you can, if you really don't know what you're doing, I do recommend teaching English. Like, it gives you that time still. Like, yes, you are working hard, but you can do other things on your rest days and your vacations and things like that and still go out. But yeah, you're gonna be working hard. The work ethic is very hard, so if you're not into that, then don't do it. Also, as a disclaimer, I didn't mention, I'm talking about kind of the normalcy before COVID, and the reason I'm doing that is because I am pretty hopeful that COVID will beat it. So I want to talk about what it's normally like teaching in Korea. I will have another video of what it's been like with COVID, but it hasn't been too much different. Anyways, I think that's all for today. There's so much more I want to tell you guys, like what the application process is like, what happened to me when I first got here, and all these kinds of things, but otherwise I would be boring you with a super long video. So let me know if you guys like what I was talking about today. I really do want to do more parts and keep going and give you more advice, because I think if you are serious about coming here to teach English, I think it'll be very helpful for you. And I also kind of do some lifestyle videos as well, kind of showing what living in Korea is like as well. So again, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe for more videos, right? You want to see those videos? I know you do. And I think we'll do this every other week. So next week we'll do another small snack video, and then if you guys like this one, we'll go back with another story. All right? See you guys next week. As usual, stay awesome, and thank you for everything, for all the people watching so far. Really appreciate you guys. See you next time.